Hey gamers, we're back with another episode of Let's Create a Competitive Card Game. In this episode, we will be taking a look at the finished Cleric class card. So let's get started. Alright, so in this episode, we will be looking at the finished Cleric card, and we'll also be looking at some new concepts. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and hop over to Photoshop. Alright, so this is the original concept for the Cleric class card, and as you all know, I went ahead and selected the third one, as I honestly didn't really like the first one and didn't really like the second one too much either. So the third one is what we went ahead and went with, and from this I really wasn't expecting much, as like I said, it's really hard to kind of think about what these concepts will look like. So I'll go ahead and hop over to the second concept. Alright, so this was the second rendering of the concept, and honestly it looked just like the original concepts. Obviously it has color and everything else, but from that sort of draft it does look extremely similar. Now with this concept, some things that I did not like were this headpiece, and I really wasn't too fond of the armor she has on, or sort of the dress down here. So I did ask the artist to remove this headpiece, maybe add a shoulder piece, and also I asked her to add a shield, as clerics in this game will use shields and maybe blunt weapons. So what I expected from the next concept was exactly that. I expected this headpiece to be removed, and I expected her to have a shield, maybe some different armor, and also something to be done about the dress, as it does look like she was going to a wedding. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the third concept. Alright, so this was the third concept, and I honestly liked this. I like the overdrawn shield. Now she doesn't have a blunt weapon, as she is, I guess, taking on a healing role. Looks like she's maybe healing the roses, so that was fine. And the artist, she did add some shoulder pads here, and yeah, she did move the dress and fix the armor, as it was kind of V'd at the bottom coming down. So what I was expecting with the final Cleric class card was honestly just more detail in this. That's really all I was expecting, as I did really like this a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the final Cleric class card. Alright, so this is the final version of the Cleric class card, and I must say I honestly like this a lot. It may actually be my favorite one so far. Now I really like the color and the roses, and how it's kind of this bluish purple tint from her healing the roses. Now the artist did add on to the, I guess, the undergarment here. She added these, I'm not sure what they're called, these symbols, these golden symbols, and I think that's a really good touch. And you can see it looks like some pearls were added and some more pieces, so that's a really good touch that I like a lot. And she did add on, maybe, I think these are ravens, so I'm not sure if she's in a, I don't know, in a torn area somewhere. Looks like maybe a swamp or something, but I really like this image a lot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the images side by side so that we can see the progression from the initial concept until the final piece. Alright, so we have the side by side of all the renders, and what I did is I'm going to combine the second and third concepts as one, as I can only put 3 up vertically. So from the initial concept here to the first draft, honestly, this is almost a one-for-one. It looks essentially the exact same. Now it looks like from here maybe she might have had on a cape. I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but it looks like she may have had on a cape, and it doesn't really translate over here. There didn't seem to be armor in the initial concept, but I'm glad that she did add it to the second concept. And something else that was added was these roses, which I think was a really good touch. Now, I did see this headpiece in the initial concept, but I honestly did not think too much about it until I actually saw the second concept. Now, from the second to the third concept, the artist definitely made an improvement in the image, as, like I said, I really didn't like this headpiece. I wanted her to maybe have on some shoulder plates and a shield and maybe a blunt weapon. So in the third concept, she definitely delivered there, as I like this a lot. And I do understand why she doesn't have a blunt weapon now, as she is holding some roses and healing. Now the shield, yeah, it is super huge and a really, really good touch. Now from this third concept to the final image, honestly, I think it's just a lot of detail added, so it looks, I don't want to say exactly the same, but you guys get the idea. Everything translated extremely well over here. Even the little details in the armor, I don't recall what that's called. I want to say Damascus, like on a sword, how you have Damascus on it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I just noticed that, but that's really good detail right there. And the pearls and everything in the headpiece is extremely good detail in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, this is definitely my favorite class card so far. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up the concept for some new images. Alright, so this concept is for a Pyromancer class card. Now, as I said in an earlier episode, I did send the artist about, I want to say 10 different classes. So for the first set, if you recall, I wanted to do something big like the old MTG sets where it was 300 plus cards, but based on what I thought I could realistically accomplish, I broke that down to only about 90 cards and mentioned that there would only be 3 classes. So what I did have prepared in my mind was 2 classes for each of the guilds. So 2 for power, 2 for life, and 2 for mind. So Pyromancer was the opposite of clerics, and the idea is that they are in life. So whereas clerics would heal life, pyromancers would be the, I guess, the burn playstyle. So these are the initial 3 concepts, and I've had a chance to look at these obviously, and what I've actually decided is I like this middle one the most. Now, I'm really not a fan of this one, and I do like the third one right here. I do like this, but the cleric already has birds on it, and this appears to be her blowing maybe I'd imagine a firebird, if she is a pyromancer. So the only thing different that I do like is the middle one. So that is the one that I'm going to let the artist know to proceed with. Now, what are my expectations for the next concept? Well, I honestly have no idea. This is a female, as you see here, so I'm guessing a female with fire around her, as you see in this picture, and it looks like maybe some fire coming from her fingers. Other than that, I'm not really too sure. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the next concept. Now we do have 3 concepts, as like I said, I had 2 classes for each guild planned out. So I'll switch over to the next one. Alright, so this is the concept for a knight. Now the knight was obviously part of the power guild. So whereas the warriors focus in attack, the knight focuses on defense. So of these 3 concepts, I'm not a fan of the first one. It seems pretty basic. Now, this second one, or sorry, this third one, I do like this. However, this is the main card that represents you in the game, so I do want the person on the card to be facing forward. So I did tell the artist to proceed with this second one. And this, what I can tell, maybe he has on some furry, like maybe there's some fur up here and he has a cape. This is obviously a sword, and it does look like he may be in some heavy armor, and I hope this is a helmet here, as it looks like a helmet here. Not too much here, but yeah, I'm thinking he has on a helmet and full armor. So my expectations for the next concept of this is exactly that. A knight standing here in full armor, maybe fur up here with his cape hanging down. And yeah, those are my expectations. So I'll go ahead and move on to the next concept. Alright, so the next idea I had for a class was for the Mind Guild, and the idea was a mentalist, as you see here. So where magicians like to make things disappear, aka bounce cards back to your hand, the mentalist prefers to play with your mind or with your hands. So the playstyle that I had in mind for the mentalist was that they like to make you discard cards. Now, of these 3, honestly, the second one seemed to go more with what I think a mentalist would do in this game, which is play with your mind, make you discard cards, as it looks like this character will be looking you straight on, and with the way his hand is, he could possibly be doing something with your mind. Now, this first one, he's, I guess, floating and meditating. Not really a fan of that. And this third one, honestly, yeah, I have no idea what this is. Honestly, it looks like a zombie. I'd imagine this was a zombie, but the way the arms coming down here, the hands are, the stance, I probably think that was a zombie. So I've told the artist to proceed with doing the next concept using this second. Now, my expectations, I have no idea. There's really not much to go on right here, like at all. So I'm really interested in seeing what the artist does. So those are the new concepts, and hopefully in the next episode for art, we will have second concepts for hopefully at least one of these new classes. Now, I'm saying new classes, but I do want to be clear that these will not actually be in the first set. It will only be the initial 3 classes. These were just ideas that I have in mind for maybe the next set coming out. Or perhaps the first set is a really huge set that's split up into 2 or 3 different sets. So I haven't really decided that. I know 90 cards is what will be in the first set. That's realistically what I can probably achieve. So yeah, if you like these episodes, be sure to like, subscribe, and all of the other good stuff. Thanks.